Yeah, I think completely normal, like it is with a player with a long injury history. So he obviously he did well in the last game, and it was the plan before the game, together with the medical department, that we said, okay, around about 50, 55, 60 minutes would be good for him, and obviously good for us to play. So that's what we did. Of course, now he felt each muscle after the game. That's normal, because it was intensive. Yeah, but in this moment, he is available for the weekend, and we have to see how we will do it this time.
And is Henderson ready to start now? How is Coutinho? And what would you say overall about the level of competition for places that you have now?
Yeah, Hendo is. It's a good example to explain why players obviously have to be handled differently, because Hendo is a worker, how we know, and he needs to be absolutely fit, and that's the difference. So for him, it's better how we did it in the last 2 games, but it's perfect to have him back and as an option, and in the on the bench that we can bring him in the game, and that's very important for us. So I didn't decide until now who would start, but it's of course not the best thing to know you start with a team and you know about 2 safe changes. So that's what we have to look on, and that's it. That's so I don't know. Hendo is a big step. Made a big step in the last few weeks, and that's the best news, I have to say, because there was some doubts, about the heel and so on, but he feels good, and that's really good for us when you see who we will play again in December and January. With the Southampton game, we made us some problems in January. Yeah, that's and so it's important that we can give him time to come in. Phil is, I like optimism, really, but with Phil we were too optimistic, because yeah, sometimes it happens like this, and there's nothing to criticize about this. It's he try everything he can. He train nearly normally, but he doesn't feel comfortable with, and we have to take care of this, because it's the muscle is a dangerous thing when you feel a little bit, when you don't feel comfortable, then stop. So that's what we do. He's training. We wait, and I can wait every day. It's no problem. If somebody tell me, okay, now he's available, and next time he play with us, no problem. But yesterday nobody gave me the sign, so we have to wait today again. And what was?
Well, just wondered as well. I mean, after the performances tonight, what you feel about the level of competition for places you've got within this?
Yeah, first time. That's how it should be. To have, I hope it stay like this. To have more than you need, and yeah, you saw it. I'm sure it would have been not possible to play the game on Wednesday with the same squad, with the same team as 3 days before. So you have to change, and we changed 6. Somebody told me before the game. I did not even know that we changed 6 times. We only made a team for this game, and so now I don't know how many changes we'll do for the next game. But we have some options. But it's possible too that we play with the same team, because it is a long part of the short week. Wednesday, Sunday is okay, enough for recovery, so you could do the same again.
I'll come back to you. Put this on the table for Monday.
Jurgen, just 1 defeat so far. How pleased have you been with the form since you've joined, and has it perhaps been better than you could have hoped for?
For this, I should have thought about the games when I came here. No, I didn't think about it. It was I thought about the first game against Tottenham, and then we were in the middle of everything immediately, and so yeah, it is okay. Until now, the problem in football is that you always have to have the next game ahead, and you always have to think about this game, and so I think it's not allowed in the middle of a season. We are not, even not in the middle of the season in this moment to think about how was it until now. It's not important. So because we did what we have to do. That's all. Yeah, now Newcastle.
Newcastle have had 9 managers in 7 years. In your opinion, how important is stability at a club?
I'm not an expert in this because I had the nearly perfect situation there for 7 years, and 7 years in Dortmund, 7 years in Mainz. So, in my opinion, it's very important. But yeah, how we can see, it can work in different ways. So, yeah, I don't know nothing. I only know about the actual situation of Newcastle, not about their history, not about why they changed managers. But of course, something seems to be not right when you change the manager. But I know Steve McLaren, and I know about his quality and his experience. So we have to be aware.
Julian?
There's always been really good fixtures between Liverpool and Newcastle over the years, and there's a lot of vibrancy about Newcastle, but you say obviously you don't know what goes on at Newcastle, but it's a huge club. So what are your impressions of Newcastle as a manager and someone maybe who's been following them over the years?
I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's like it is. I'm still a new manager here for 6 weeks or something like this. I can't tell you something about Newcastle. Sorry. Maybe you can tell me something about another club in Germany. You don't know. I heard about Newcastle. I knew a little bit about their problems in the last year. I don't know. They thought they had to buy other players or things like this. It's not easy to get information in Germany if you don't play international football. And Newcastle obviously didn't play for a long time in European League or Champions League. So that's not that easy. And I think for me in this moment it's not important. So I can't. If I had to know more about Newcastle as in general, I would take the information, but we have to play football against them, and not against their history, not against their problems, not against only against the team of Newcastle. And so I'm sorry, I'm not the right person to ask for.
Do you almost have to guard against overconfidence in a game like this, or are you happy that your players will go out, particularly away from home, and be as confident as they can?
Yeah. I had never a problem with overconfidence. It's too much confidence, or what? What is it?
With Newcastle struggling and the way you've played at Southampton and Chelsea and Manchester City, people will expect you to win this game.
Yeah, we expect it too. To be honest, we expect it all the time, but it doesn't work all the time. That's the problem. So there's no. Yeah, we have the same thinking about this. But of course, it doesn't mean that we don't have respect, because how I said a few times before, to be prepared for a game, you have to know as much as you can about the actual situation, about the situation in the moment in the club, because everything can be motivation, and that's it. And confidence is something, and self-confidence is something like it's something like a small flower. If you have it, somebody kick on it in the game and you see nothing of this. And if you don't have it, you can get it easily back if the other team give you the opportunity to this. So, and that's what we have to be prepared for. Of course, it's not allowed to start in the game like we did in Southampton and against Chelsea and against, who was the other early goal? Crystal Palace, I think. Yeah, so I told the lads, if you do it once, you can ignore. If you do it twice, you have to talk about it. If you do it 3 times, you have to change it immediately. And we did it 3 times. So that's the first thing, to be concentrated from the first second on. And only to be focused on our targets. And if you travel to Newcastle, there's no other reason for it than to get as much points as you can. And that's what we have to do. And to be prepared on the football day, probably play, because how we saw, we had a real good analysis of the Swansea style in the last few weeks, and then they came to Liverpool and they played completely different. So, and to react on this in the game, if it happens, is very important too. But yeah, expectations from outside, if they think that we should win easily, then I'm not interested in. And if they all are prepared for the next intensive game, well, then it's the same what we think.
Emre Can suspended for the weekend, but he seems to really sort of blossomed in that midfield since you came on. Do you see that?
Emre's like, yeah, the whole team is on a good way. The big difference between him and some other players is he's very young. He's 21. He doesn't look like. Very often in his game he doesn't look like 21, and sometimes he looks like 18. That's the truth. He knows it. He knows it, and we are in very often in talks about this. He has a problem. He speaks the same language as myself. That means I can talk more with him. And yeah, now he can play. But Emre's he's a really good player, I have to say, and I like working together with him. But now he's not available for the next game, so of course it should not be the biggest problem for us. We have other quality players. They didn't play last Wednesday, so they are something like recovered or whatever, and so we will have a good formation on Wednesday. But Emre, like every young player, with big talent, obviously big talent, they have to learn, and that's what he should do.
Has he benefited though from playing in the same? He's during his time here, he's been moved back to play in defence. Even the national team playing in defence. But has he benefited from being, playing in one position and having to learn one position?
Yeah, I think what I heard and what I read is even Brendan thought his best position is a midfield position. So I think that's clear that he is a midfield player. But with his size and with his speed and with his strength in one-on-one situation, of course he can play a centre half if you don't have another one in good shape. So we have the problem in this moment that we have 2 centre halves in this moment available. So, and the next option would have been Emre. Okay, now he's not. We don't have him in this moment, so we have only 2. But because he can play this, and for a young player, it's more important to play than to play on the right position. So it's only a discussion if you want to discuss about it, but it's absolutely no problem to play different positions. In German national team, he plays sometimes fullback. It's for sure not his best position, but he can play it. And if there are problems on a position, you have to play it or not to think about it if it's your best position. And that's what he's doing. He has no. I never had a discussion with him about the position, but in the last few weeks, it was for us was very good that he could play in midfield and that he could improve his game, and that's what he did. And, yeah, so everything is okay.
Okay, guys, thank you very much.
Thank you.